the answer is you suck. And I look forward to you sucking again in season 2. And I look forward to collecting some more trophies.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This is going to be my new Thor 4 Love and Thunder Avengers 5 video. Chris Hemsworth just confirmed some big details about the future of Thor in the MCU, trash-talking everyone. So we'll break it all down. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. We'll do a new Amazon giveaway too. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and let me know which other big movies you want Thor to cross over into during Marvel Phase 4 and Marvel Phase 5. So just starting with the big stuff first, number 5, Chris Hemsworth revealed that he would be continuing as Thor in the MCU after Thor 4 Love and Thunder. So everybody wipe your foreheads, sigh of relief, he's not going anywhere. Everyone start getting hyped up for Avengers 5, but his exact quote about coming back for more Marvel movies and more Thor movies reads like this. And this is him responding to a question in an interview recently asking him if Thor 4 Love and Thunder would be his last Marvel movie, and if they're going to kill the character off, or if Thor's going to retire like Captain America, the big twist at Avengers Endgame where he fades into the background before Avengers Secret Wars. So Chris Hemsworth said, and it reads like he was screaming when he was saying this, he said, "Are you crazy? I'm not going into any retirement, period," as he's laughing while saying this. Thor is far too young for that. He's only 1,500 years old. It is definitely not a film that I say goodbye to this brand. At least I hope so. So when he says he hopes so, quote unquote, that's him just joking about his new contract in the political business stuff behind the scenes for more Marvel movies. Like he hopes that all that stuff goes well. Because at this point, Marvel does have to pay him way more money per movie. Even though Disney does have infinite money, that was one of the reasons why they were looking for ways to move Iron Man into the background heading into Marvel Phase 4. They were having to pay Robert Downey Jr. so much money. His salary on Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame was actually enough money to make a whole other Marvel movie by itself. And just for reference, Chris Hemsworth and the other A-list Avengers characters, besides Robert Downey Jr., each earned about $20 million for just Avengers Endgame. That doesn't include their salary for Avengers Infinity War. I think it was also about $20 million for Infinity War as well. And if you didn't know, he is correct. Thor really is only about 1,500 years old in present day of the MCU, give or take a few years. Time moves a little bit differently for them when they're that old. According to Loki, in Thor the Dark World, just normal Asgardians, not the ones who are part of their pantheon, just the regular ones, live for up to 5,000 years. Thor, Odin, even Loki, who's actually a frost giant, all have those extra cosmic powers because of their bloodline, which allows them to live potentially even longer if they're not killed in battle. Like in the comics, Thor lives for millions of years, just like Odin once he gets the Odin Force. He almost lives long enough to see the heat death of the universe. But number 4, when Chris Hemsworth said that he's not saying goodbye to the Thor brand, quote-unquote the brand, he's talking about the Thor movies. Now that doesn't confirm that they're going to be doing Thor 5, because if they did, it wouldn't happen for several years, till well after Avengers 5. He's mostly talking about the bigger Thor-related movies like Avengers 5, or if you want to make the Revengers joke, Revengers 5. Potential crossover movies like a reverse Thor Ragnarok situation where Thor's the main character in someone else's solo movie, like Fantastic Four sequels or the Silver Surfer movie. Silver Surfer and Galactus have spent a lot of time crossing over with Thor in Marvel Comics, and the future of the MCU, per Kevin Feige, is in the multiverse and in space with big cosmic threats. That's why Nick Fury moved to that Sword space station in the Spider-Man Far From Home post-credits, because the next big threat is from outer space. And Thor is one of their OG, most powerful cosmic Avengers characters, so of course it makes sense that he's involved with the future of the cosmic MCU movies. Plus, you kind of need to have a transition from the old Avengers team to the new roster with a couple of core original characters returning in Avengers 5 to round out the cast and serve as a foundation for that new Avengers team. No joke, right now the two most important Avengers characters that Marvel has coming back are Thor and Spider-Man. Thor has seen thousands of years worth of cosmic history, so he knows a lot more about what's coming for them in Avengers 5, these other big cosmic threats that the Avengers haven't learned about yet. Even though he mostly pretends to be stupid, so people will like him more. He just has all this knowledge that they haven't encountered yet because he's been around for so long, even though he hasn't gone full-blown King Thor yet, or Old Man Thor. Spider-Man is important for several other reasons, mostly because he, along with Superman and Batman, is one of the top 3 most popular, best-selling comic book characters of all time in the real world. Everyone around the world who doesn't read comic books or doesn't care about comic book movies still knows who Spider-Man is. If you show them a picture, they say, oh, that's Spider-Man. Within the story of the MCU, though, as it's evolving, he was also there for everything that happened before Avengers Endgame and the Infinity Gauntlet, and we're still watching him take the mantle of Iron Man that he passed down to him. That was what Spider-Man Far From Home was all about. I'll talk more about Spider-Man in Marvel Phase 4 and Avengers 5 when they start filming Spider-Man 3 later this year. There'll be a lot of Spider-Man stuff happening for the rest of the year. This video is mostly supposed to be about Thor. So 3, just in terms of how many new movies Thor would be in after Thor 4 Love and Thunder, it'll probably be a Nick Fury situation where he does a couple bigger ones, like he's a main character in Avengers 5 because he's one of the core Avengers, and he does at least one other big crossover movie where he's a main character. And then on top of that, he gets a couple smaller cameos in the other movies to help tie things together, like his cameo at the end of the Doctor Strange post-credit scene.
Okay, well, listen, good luck with that, and don't forget your umbrella.
Oh, can't you just magic it over to me?
Oh, I think we both know even this wizard can't do that.
Then you also have Marvel's Disney Plus Loki series. It would be weird if he didn't appear in that at some point. They're still filming it right now. I'll do more videos about it when they get ready to release the trailer. It won't premiere till next spring in 2021, but I do believe that it'll run for multiple seasons. So it'll be really crazy, really weird. Everybody loves Loki, so it'll be a lot of fun. Then Vin Diesel accidentally already confirmed that the Guardians of the Galaxy would appear in Thor 4 Love and Thunder, and that Thor, conversely, would appear in Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Thor will also, the director talked to me about how Thor will incorporate some of the Guardians of the Galaxy, which would be very interesting. Nobody knows, but maybe I shouldn't have said anything.
Remember, originally Guardians 3 would have been released before Thor 4. It was actually supposed to be released this year, but there were a number of reasons why that didn't happen. So we would have seen them follow up on this Thor scene from the Avengers Endgame ending with Thor still being Fat Thor, but hitching a ride with them for more adventure before Thor 4 had picked up, and then that would have been the end of it. Guardians 3 was originally just meant to be its own thing with just that little Thor moment, and then all the Guardians characters go their separate ways, mostly at the end of that movie, because James Gunn revealed it is the last movie with that particular roster of Guardians. It's not the end of the Guardians, it's just the end of that roster of Guardians. So when they come back in a future space-based Marvel movie like Avengers 5, or some other big crossover movie like the Captain Marvel movies, or Fantastic Four, or Silver Surfer, it'd be a different roster of Guardians. Early prediction too, we don't know which movie it's going to happen in yet, but there will probably be a Thor, Galactus, and Silver Surfer scene at some point after those two characters debut, but that probably won't happen in the first new Marvel Fantastic Four reboot movie. They'll probably just have Galactus Silver Surfer Easter eggs, like some vague broad implication of future Avengers Marvel threats from space coming for Earth, like a version of the original Avengers post-credit scene where Thanos shows his face, just letting you know that the Infinity Gauntlet, the Infinity Saga, is going to be the big story. In number 1, the biggest stuff returning Thor means for Thor 4 Love and Thunder, because they're getting ready to film that right now, is obviously that Jane Foster Thor will not be replacing Thor Odin's son in the MCU as the main version of Thor. I think a lot of people had questions about that after the Marvel Phase 4 Comic-Con panel last year, after the reveal that part of the plot of Thor 4 would be the Mighty Thor comic book story, where Jane Foster becomes a version of Thor. So right now it just sounds like Jane Foster Thor will just be a thing for this one movie briefly, and then maybe they bring her back, or that version of the character back, for Avengers Secret Wars, for some big multiverse twist, depending on what happens to Jane Foster at the end of Thor 4. Christian Bale is still going to be the villain. Thank you very much, Tessa Thompson, for accidentally revealing that. I don't think she was supposed to do that. They haven't completely confirmed who his villain is going to be, but right now everyone believes it's going to be a version of Gore the God Butcher, since there are only a handful of cosmic-level Marvel villains from the Thor comics that they haven't done yet that are also big enough to be a threat for Thor. Thor also still has Stormbreaker, and he's still worthy, so the only way Jane Foster is wielding Mjolnir is if they reforge the broken pieces of the one from the main universe that Hela destroyed, or if we're talking about hardcore multiverse and Marvel Phase 4 movies, they use a Mjolnir from another universe. But let me know in the comments, just besides Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which other solo movies do you want to see Thor cross over into after Thor 4? There will be more Marvel trailers later this year. We'll probably get the first Marvel Eternals trailer with the Black Widow movie in November. So as long as you have alerts enabled for my channel, you'll see all those videos when I post them. But everyone click here for my Black Panther 2 Chadwick Boseman video, and click here for The Boys Season 2 Episode 4 video with a bunch of Marvel Easter eggs. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe. I'll see you guys tonight.